Welcome back. Today we are in Proverbs chapter 29, verse 7 today. Verse 7 says, "The righteous consider the cause of the poor, but the wicked does not understand such knowledge." So the righteous doesn't only think of himself, the righteous also thinks about the poor. He thinks about, if you're married, thinks about his spouse, thinks about the kids if you got kids. And before he makes any decision, he just thinks about how it's going to affect all the people around him. But the wicked, they don't do that. They're just like, what do I want? I want that, and they go for it, whether or not it hurts somebody else. Verse 8 says, "Scoffers set a city aflame, but wise men turn away wrath." So if there's an army coming against your city, because I know this happens a lot nowadays, if there's an army that comes against your city and you scoff at them, if you make fun of them, if you answer them in harsh tones, well, then you're going to have a fight. They win, they set your city on fire. But if you're wise, you can negotiate, you can talk to them, you can work out whatever your conflict is before this happens. Okay, so it doesn't actually have cities. You don't actually have cities nowadays that you're trying to keep from barbarians. But there are people in your life who are upset at you for some reason or another, and then they come and they're angry at you, and they're going to have a fight with you. Maybe not a physical fight, maybe it's just a verbal fight. Either way, they're not happy about it, and they're going to let you know. And if you make fun of them, if you insult them, if you answer in kind, then it's going to bring out their wrath, and it's still their sin, but still you're not helping. So instead, be wise and act with a kind voice and a kind heart, and get this thing worked out, and keep your friend instead of making your friend your enemy. Verse 9 says, "If a wise man contends with a foolish man, whether the fool rages or laughs, there is no peace." So if it's saying, if there's a foolish man trying to get to a debate, the wise man enters the debate, which is not very wise at all, so I don't know if he should still be called the wise man, but for now let's just call him the wise man. So he gets into the debate, whether he wins, which means the fool rages, he's upset that he lost, or that he loses, which means the fool laughs because, haha, I beat the wise man at something. It doesn't actually bring about peace. There's nothing that joins those two together. It's like those debates that they have with Christians versus non-Christians. Non-Christians love them. It's like, hey, we get to go argue about stuff. We get to try to convince people that God's not true. Christians, they go, we're going to beat the enemy. We're going to show them the logic of God, and we're going to take down the pillars of evolution. And I don't think it's ever worked. I don't know. I haven't met anybody who went to one of those debates as a non-Christian and got saved. It's more kind of turns into an us versus them. And it doesn't make us like more together at the end. It just makes us more upset, more sad that we didn't think of the quick comeback. But it's just, it doesn't seem like a good use of our time, our energy, our resources. I'm not saying we shouldn't study apologetics. I just think a public debate is not the forum for it. One-on-one discussion is much, much better. Let's see, what verse is next? Verse 10 says, "The bloodthirsty hate the blameless, but the upright seek his well-being." So those who are evil, who are corrupt, they don't like the purity of God's people, because it's like, man, if they're so perfect, it makes me feel even worse. It shows me my sin, and they don't like it at all. But the upright, they love hanging around pure people. It's a breath of fresh air. There's no drama, there's no baggage. It's like, oh, we can just relax and be ourselves, and we don't have to be on guard for something you might say or something you might do that would easily offend me. And it's just so much better. So if you're a righteous man and people are uncomfortable around you, you just consider why that is and pray for them and help them out. And if you are around people who are wonderful and godly, then that is great company to keep. So do that. Verse 11 says, "A fool vents all his feeling, but a wise man holds them back." So yes, if you just say everything that's on your mind, the Bible basically calls you a fool. The wise man holds them back because he knows not everybody needs to hear everything all the time. It poisons other people's hearts when people vent their upsetness, their grievances with me. Then I am grieved, and I have to carry that burden. And I'll do that for a friend, but I don't want to do that to other people. Anyway, God bless and have a nice day. See you next time.